Sunday afternoon to come to hear what it is that I may be saying about what it is to be one of the people that we call statistas. Natsista, natsissev. What was to own na heshede. Na wo statisia ma more miha habo heaven of hewa. Ikie amen tisis hitzel. What I've said is that I am one of the Cheyenne. I am a Cheyenne woman. My name is the woman who comes to offer prayer. And my ancestors lived here in what we now know to be the state of Kansas a long time ago. We have been on a road that we have walked since the dawn of creation. We have our own views of how the world came into existence and how Mahil made this world. And what a lovely, compassionate, and beautiful earth he placed us upon to walk a road of life. We look at life as a road or a path upon which we all journey with all of those that have ever walked or who will ever come to live on this earth. It is a road that has its challenges. It has its road that it is a road that I'm very familiar with in terms of what it is to be one of those hearted alike people, which is the rough equivalent translation of statistas, which is a variation of the form statistas, which means those alike. In this case, in terms of our creation account, which really form the basis of our view of the world, that we are one of the people hearted alike, or the hearted alike people, the people with like hearts, the people that have the same view of the world, that think with the heart as well as with the mind, and compassionate people who were placed in this wonderful, compassionate world to walk that road of life. This road of life is cyclical and really is nothing more than the boundaries of this earth as we know it. But it extends way beyond that to include everything in this boundless universe that Mahil, the great one, made when he was creating all life. So everything we do, everything we think in terms of beginnings go far back in time. You begin at the beginning. You began when life was pure. Life was sacred, when it was most holy. And we would look at this world in which we live as maybe one would view this church, a place that is very sacred, a place that is holy, a place that one reverences, a place that one respects. And when Mahil was making this world and created earth, and so let this earth be known as our grandmother, Ishkimhan, in our ceremonial language. Just in terms of everyday language. He said, but let this earth be known as Ishkimhan. Let it be known for the woman that holds up this earth. Most beautiful, the most beautiful. was brought into existence. As the people hearted alike, we love this land, to which we are very closely attached. Land or earth. Land that gives us life. Land that supports our feet. Land that provides us with all of the resources that we need with which to live. Land. So if you understand our view of this great and wonderful earth or land, as we might call it, then you can understand how we wanted to keep it, how we wanted to maintain our hunting grounds, how we wanted our children to know and to love this good earth, how we wanted to keep it holy, because that was where we had buried our ancestors. Made holy because places on this earth are their final resting places. And so we were placed on this land, on this earth, to walk through life. A journey that we have been individually taking since the beginning of time. A road that we have walked, a road with which our thinking is governed by being one of the hearted alike people. Governed by being able to think not just with the mind, and solely with the mind, but being able to think with the heart. The kind of thinking that results in compassionate, loving, respectful people who want nothing more than to have peace, to be at peace. The same way that we want it today as the citizens of this great nation, this great democracy. Peace. And so we're placed on this road, and we have our own history, which for us is divided into, very quickly, 4 different time periods. The first of those time periods being called the ancient time, the time that we live far to the north and the east of where we currently live. Our elders say it was someplace perhaps in that broad area between the Great Lakes and Hudson's Bay in Canada. That is where our elders say that we lived in the ancient time. And at that time we were hunters and gatherers. But some great big epidemic struck the village, and as our elders say, left many orphans. And so they left to live in a different place, those that lived in that time. Because they knew how to live in concert with their environment. They knew that they should not remain in a place where they were going to encounter what we call pandemics today. Where there were going to be diseases that left many of them orphaned. So they left and walked toward and into the marshlands of the Great Lakes. And before then went there very giant part wolf dogs that they had tamed. And they wandered and they walked. And some of them faced starvation, most of them, all of them. And so they had to resort to eating those animals. Those hotne, hodamia, those wolf dogs. Even today in our ceremonies, the highest form of offerings that a sun dancer can make is to offer oestis hodam, the dog. That has gotten translated to very stereotypically into phrases such as "mitter," dog eaters. But you have to understand how, at a time, a very critical period in our time, that we had to resort to eating them. Otherwise, we might not have lived. There might not have been Cheyennes today. I might not be here. There would be no language that we know as Cheyenne. And so they wandered into that second period of history, the time of the dogs. And then they entered into a third period, the time of the buffalo. They lived in earth lodge villages and moved further south and east. And they were agriculturists, and they raised corns, beans, and squash, and other food items. And they would venture out into the interior and kill those huge bison and take them back to their villages. And one time they came back and all of their seeds, their seed corn was gone. It had been stolen by some enemy tribes. And so they abandoned that kind of lifestyle and became and entered into that third period of history, the time of the buffalo. And of course we know that the technical name for a buffalo is bison, but we're the buffalo people, the Sundaya, who were visited by one of our two great prophets, who brought us the sacred buffalo hunt, or the Sundaya buffalo people, the Sundance people. And we wandered out further and further into the plains and finally came yet to another animal that we had been told about by another one of our great prophets called Sweet Medicine. Both erect horns and Sweet Medicine had been sent to us by Machia to help us survive. They came to us at a critical time again in our history when we were facing starvation and extinction. Sweet Medicine brought us our most holy of medicine bundles, the arrow bundle. 4 arrows, and they have to do with our male ceremony, and as a female, I can't really say much more than that. But those 4 arrows are the greatest resource that we have as a peoples today against starvation and extinction. They are renewed every year. They are kept by the Cheyennes who live on the southern plains of Oklahoma. The other medicine bundle is kept in the north by our kinspeople, the northern Cheyennes.